What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Mark and Dr. Latasha Blanton, and they are the hosts for the South Africa tour. Now, some of you have been hearing me talk about that, and they're here to not only tell you about the tour itself, but just a little bit about them and how they got started into that particular industry. So, Mark and Dr. Latasha, thank you for coming on the show today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Pleasure.
So just for people that don't know, because we have a lot of new people, because Mark been on here before, maybe about 5 months ago on the show. Dr. Latasha was not here, but could you tell everyone just about who you are and just how you ended up in Johannesburg?
So my name is Dr. Latasha Blanton. By profession, I am an actual physical therapist, but we decided to move to South Africa after spending a lot of time here, and then finally, after several years of traveling here, we decided that it was time to make a move. In 2014, Mark started doing some travel groups here. I didn't join him at the time. I was still working our businesses back in the States. And then by that time, we decided to sell our practices back in the States and do tourism and travel full time. And then we ended up in Johannesburg last September.
All right, Mark, could you tell people just a little bit about yourself? Because you definitely have an interesting story.
I do have an interesting story. Thank you for having us. Obviously, we're in the tourism business here in Johannesburg, and we basically backed into it simply because I came here as a tourist, and now the whole tourism arc has me living here as a resident here in South Africa. Our overarching story is that we always wanted people to know our story, and people always used to ask us our story about South Africa, but didn't have the means or could figure out how to get here. But then ultimately we opened up our company, and people started entrusting us to come to South Africa, and they've just been enjoying themselves ever since.
All right, so you're in South Africa, and for people that had never been, what is the differences with being in South Africa versus being in America?
Where do we start with that one?
Yeah.
So the difference is, the most blatant difference to me is that it's the exact opposite of the U.S. Over here in South Africa, Black people are in the majority, and that is something that most Black people don't get to experience in their lifetime. The best part about being in the majority is that they don't even know that you're not South African or not from Africa until you start to speak, which gives you an automatic feeling of inclusion from the moment you land. And that's the best part about it, which you usually don't feel even if you live in highly populated places where Black people are in America. You still don't feel included in a lot of ways like you do here in South Africa.
Yeah, and let me add to that. I'm so sorry. When you land and you get here and you've been here for a day or two, you start to feel a little freer. You start noticing that everything is kind of geared towards you and Black people. For example, we just had a group that was here, and one of the things he noticed that all the advertising was Black advertising. All the models and the pictures were Black. All the people who had the Coca-Cola commercials were Black, and he just noticed that, and it made perfect sense to him.
Yeah, you was talking about you guys just basically the soul. You talk about your practice, right, Dr. Latasha?
Yes.
Okay, you just sold everything, and you was considered being successful in America, and you would have some Black Americans would say, well, why would a successful doctor sell their practice to move to South Africa? Like what made them do that?
Well, what made us do that was simply because on our travels of coming back and forth, I just started to feel dread, for lack of a better word, every time I had to go back. And I loved our practices, and they were successful, and we had a really good time, and we lived out the full extent of what would be the American dream. You go to school, you get a college degree, you get another degree, you get your doctorate, you own a business, you work for the federal government, you work for the Secret Service. You put all those things together, it's like you've got the best of both worlds. But in the middle of all of that, I still wasn't as happy as I could possibly be until I was here. And I was willing to give all of that up to just be here and be free and be myself. And I have to think about the color of my skin every day. Even in owning a business, I still had to remember that I was a Black female business owner every day of my life, and I don't have to think about being Black here at all. I just get to be Black, and it's beautiful.
So you get there, and you because I was like, I can relate to it because, like I said, we just got back from Kenya, and it's
Yeah.
like you say, you look up and you see all the advertisements, Black people. You know, I seen the they call them governors. That's like in the city. You know, we would call them mayors. They call them governors in Kenya. And I'm looking at the brother, big picture of the brother up there. That's the governor of the city, and I'm like, man, that's nice. You know what I'm saying? And you just looking around because, you know, you look at the advertisement here in America, you would think no Black people live here. And America's supposed to be a quote unquote melting pot, but they make sure the majority of all the advertisements are white.
Exactly.
And we get tired of hearing that the first Black this, the first, like, why we gotta be the celebrating the first of something? You get what I'm saying? We got a whole continent over there where that's just normal to see Black people everywhere. So you get there, you enjoy it. What made you say, you know what? God, I want to get into this tour business?
I think for me, it was a matter of being excited all the time and wanting to share that excitement with other successful Black people. And they don't have to be highly successful, but any Black person that has any means should, and I use the word should lightly because I don't want anybody to should all over anybody, but they should want to be here in a place where they get to experience something different. And that desire, that drive, that passion became larger than treating patients, and it just became such a desire that it was worth giving it up to try and share what we get to experience every day with other people.
So, you know, let's talk about the tour itself. You know, say it's coming up September 1 through September 10, you know, with our audience. And could you walk us through, you know, that particular experience? Because, you know, this will be, you know, definitely our first time working with you guys, and hopefully it'll be a very lasting relationship that you just get tired of seeing me. And, but tell people a little bit about it, because we went through the itinerary on one video, but it's better, in my opinion, to hear directly from you.
Okay.
So the itinerary is handpicked. I haven't committed this itinerary to memory because we have lots of other itineraries as well. But this particular itinerary goes through the experience of meeting normal South Africans, and I don't mean normal in a bad way, but everyday people. You get to experience the lifestyle. You'll get to go into the historical parts of South Africa. You'll meet a lot of the places and go visit the museums where people talk about all the time about apartheid. So you get into the history a little bit, definitely into the culture. Then you'll get to experience the food, experience the national parks that everyone talks about, as well as a lot of the couture and a lot of the fashion that's also here. So in those 10 days that you're here, you're going to basically experience like the gamut of South Africa in a very condensed itinerary. And we've vetted all these places. So everything that you're doing, we've done and want to share with you and your audience.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, when, you know, most people come here and they don't have an idea of what Africa is, let alone South Africa. You know, and South Africa is one of several countries that's here. But by the time you land at O.R. Tambo Airport and spend your 10 days here and get back on the plane going back to America, you're going to have a real good understanding of what it means to be an African, and also in the plight of the South Africans. They want to basically show us, because they are proud of us as African Americans. They really are, not us in particular, but just African Americans in general. So when they do finally run across us, they want to show us what they've done. And the good part about it is, you know, when we look back at it, we're very skeptical in some ways as African Americans, but they have been doing this for 25. They've only been doing this for 25 years. So the itinerary we're going to show you guys and what we want to bring to you is just a small piece of that. But when you do leave, you can say, I was in South Africa. I know South Africa. And so that's what the itinerary reflects.
And it does take you through Johannesburg, which is the the city of gold or the hub of everything. So this is where all the money is made in South Africa. And then we'll take you to Cape Town, which is where all the leisure activities take place in South Africa, to include the beaches and a lot of the coastline that's down there. So you get to experience all of that as well.
Yeah, so we kind of give you the best of both worlds, especially in Cape Town. I mean, I love Joburg. We live in Joburg. Joburg, you can be here a month and do something different every day. The good part about Cape Town, and which we love about Cape Town, is that it's absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's obviously you get the opportunity to go to Robben Island. That's where they held Nelson Mandela for all those years. You get to go to some of the best restaurants in the country there in Cape Town. So Cape Town is a I would say the direct opposite of Joburg, but on this particular trip, you're not just getting one, you're not getting the other, you're getting both, and that's what we have planned on doing with you guys when you get here.
All right. Now, for some people, and maybe I read wrong or whatever, but is Soweto part of it?
Yes.
Yes. Soweto's part of it is a suburb. It's called a suburb. Even though it's considered a township. Soweto is called Southwest Township, and it was one of the areas where all the blacks were forcefully moved into a particular area in Joburg.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a suburb of Joburg.
Okay, all right, because I know some people ask about those type of questions. Say, hey, man, I want to get out there. I mean, I like the nice things, but I want to get out there with the people and talk to them and have some conversations. And, because like when I went to Kenya as a recent, we went to Kibera. And, that was a, definitely eye-opening experience as well. So, in Soweto, isn't that area kind of like with the EFF? That's their stomping grounds?
Yeah, they got strongholds everywhere. Keep in mind, there's over 30-something political parties here. The EFF was the Economic Freedom Fighters, which have which come from the youth party of the ANC, the African National Congress. They're pretty powerful, and they're coming up, and they do. And on any given weekend, you will see them doing rallies in Soweto. So yes, you're 100% correct.
All right, everybody tell me, Phil, if you go to South Africa, you got to try to get a hold to interview with Malema. I say, it'd be nice. I say, it'd be nice if I could talk to him.
It may happen.
Yeah, that's boy, that'd be the man, because like here in the U.S., Malema actually is highly respected in a lot of the black circles.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and he is here as well. Especially, obviously, he came from he's for the youth. And the largest demographic here is young. I think the average age here is 27, which they, if you're 25 and younger, you're considered a born free, because you was born, after apartheid. When apartheid ended, you was born. But it's a young crowd here, and a lot of them do follow the EFF, which is the Economic Freedom Fighters, which is head by Julius Malema. Yep.
Right. So basically, we got to get the younger people out to vote the next time, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because I have a lot of younger people that message me, from South Africa, and tell me a lot of issues that's going on. And, and I'm like, hey, I was even running Julius Malema ads on my channel, telling people, hey, the South Africans that watch this channel, go register to vote and get out there, because, some things they tell me about, I say, hey, elections matter, even in, their country. And like I say, for us, like I said, so many different things that we see. I know there's a recent tragedy that happened with the one brother, and I was saying, you guys have to just get motivated, and but for us, we want to definitely see South Africa. I'm anxious to see it. Like I said, one of the biggest countries in Africa that watch us, the number one African nation is actually South Africa. So it'd definitely be great to meet a lot of brothers and sisters when we arrive.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of our plan. We normally, when people come, we tell them their itinerary, and that's what they're used to, and that's what they expect, and they get the itinerary. But we have a issue with over delivering. We have a habit of bringing more to the table, because even just friends of ours know this is what we do, and they always want to say, hey, can I meet them? People want to meet the African Americans that come, and then they can have have candid conversations with the African Americans. Might not be a big deal for some people that are coming from the U.S., but when they get here, they are a big deal. They really care about what we think and how we feel. And one of the things they like to do, again, they love to show us their country. They want us to, they're very proud after only 25 years of a democracy. And I keep mentioning that because up and down the street, that's what I hear all the time. I see the signs talking about 25 years of democracy. And it makes me proud as an African American to be here to see it. It's history.
Yes, they are what you consider a very, very young nation. That's like I said, apartheid, wasn't really that long ago. I mean, if you think about it. So some of the remnants of apartheid are still there. Just basic, what we see. But, I believe with time and, as you say, more and more people get acclimated into the country, and you get kind of, we having this issue in the U.S. I don't know if you're keeping up with that. With some of our black boomer population still kind of holding on to the old way a little bit, and it seems that way a little bit in South Africa. They want to kind of hold on to the familiarity instead of going with something new like the EFF. Just from what we're seeing. But change is good. Change is definitely very good. So when people it was a little different with you guys versus another company we work with. So you gave us a link. And on that form, people would just have to put as I tell people, the first name, last name, and email, and then they just tell them, I'm from, African Diaspora News Channel, need information. And then what happens when they contact you on that?
So after they send the information, or send that they want information about the trip, then we send them a welcome packet with all the information they need regarding deposit amounts, for a single person, per person sharing. We give them all the costs, and when the final payment's going to be due, we can put them on the payment plan if they want. So we send them all the information that they need in one packet, including the itinerary and information as far as if they're going to need like travel insurance if they request that. So we give them all the information at one time in one packet once they send it, including the link to make the payment if they want to make the deposit.
And I would suggest, based off of a news story we just recently done about Mexico, I would suggest travel insurance, ladies and gentlemen. Please ask them about travel insurance.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in a hospital. I don't think they would do this to you in South Africa like they did to brothers and sisters in Mexico, like just basically held them hostage. I don't think they would do that. But travel insurance, they can go through you guys to get that.
Yeah, we've given them the links to make sure that they can get travel insurance, and most of them have asked about it, so they're covered on that side.
Yeah.
Okay, so travel insurance, payment plans. That's definitely you got a lot of time. Let's say work with Mark and Dr. Latasha on this. As I tell people, you would work directly with them. Any questions like if something, I had a person maybe email me, I say, wait a minute, no, you need to talk to them. I said, because I don't want to screw up anything that they told you. I don't even know. I'm just a content guy.
We'll take care of it.
And another good thing that people need to understand too, like in some other African countries, some other other nations, here in South Africa, they give you a free visa. So when you get here, you don't have to sort out your visa before you get here, fill out your paperwork, go to the embassy, and do any of those things. They really want you to come here. They try everything they can to make it accessible to you, and a lot of countries don't do that. Well, first of all, we have American passports. Most of us do. Some of us have from other nations, and we've gotten those emails from those people who are interested in coming on the trip who live in other nations. But at the same time, our passport is very powerful. That means it gets us in a lot of places that some people can't. The good part about the way South Africans treat us is when you get here, they look at your passport. As long as it has some pages in it and it's not expired, they will stamp it. And then you got 90 days, to be in the country. And it doesn't cost you anything, and it's free. So that's just another benefit of coming to South Africa, because they really do want us here.
And people keep asking us also about shots. There's no shots required to come to South Africa. You're not going to be in any malaria or tsetse fly or any of those zones. You're going to be basically in the city. So even when we go on safari, you won't be near any of those zones. So you're safe on that aspect. There are people asking about their children as far as like what they need to fly. That information is included in the packet as well, just saying that if your kids are coming, just make sure you've got the right paperwork for them. This is what you need to, your kids can fly. So South Africa is a real easy country to visit. You just need to take the plunge and risk to come and see what you're actually missing. Because I can talk about it all day long because I love it and I live here, but you do need to actually experience it for yourself.
Right, and the safari. Let me ask you about the animals in safari. So the safari you're going to go on, does that one have elephants?
Yeah.
Okay, lions and giraffes, and do they have hyenas?
You may see some hyenas.
You may see some hyenas, some wild dogs.
Some wild dogs, some cheetahs.
That would have the cheetahs.
Yeah, we have. South Africa has as far as their safari is I'm gonna say it's on point.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it might be early morning or it might be a late night drive. You know, they call them drives. You got an early morning drive or a late night drive.
Some of the animals are nocturnal. They're more active at night or vice versa. So you have to go on boat drives. And we do have it set up so that you go on boat drives so you can see the animals that are most active in the mornings, like the lions, and the animals that are most active at night, like some of the other predators. So it's really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really good. Most people that come here, you know, you got some people that are like, oh, I'm a little nervous, but then they get out there and they're like, oh wow, this is great. You know, seeing the animals actually in the wild versus in a zoo or some kind of enclosure, it's humbling. It's humbling because now you're in their space.
Yeah, I love to see the animals in their own natural habitat because, like I don't like going to zoos because to me it's like they in jail, and then you wonder why those monkeys throwing poop at you. Like what are you looking at? I'm sick of you looking at me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't have that. You don't have that here, and they also get to try some traditional African food while they're here. They can always decline, but we do encourage you to at least try a piece of, you know, zebra or mopani worms or ostrich or, you know, anything along those lines that you may not see on the menu in the States.
Yeah.
So, and if a person say, oh, you know what, guys, I'm tired today, I want to stay at the hotel, they also have that option too as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The hotels that, the hotels here are, one special one we're choosing are with the Capital Group, and we have a contract with them. We vetted them. We went to them and looked at everything that they have and so forth. And we've had many conversations. So when we call the Capital Group, they know who we are, and we get some of the better hotels, some of the best hotels. There's some amazing hotels here in South Africa. I mean, something that's to die for. But the hotels that we're using, they're top notch. They're sharp. Got room service. Anything you would expect at a 5-star hotel, a 4 or 5-star hotel in the United States, expect that here, and that's all part of your package. So you're not, I know for us as Black people, we like staying in, nicer places and in nicer accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
We make sure that happens while you're in Joburg or Johannesburg, for those who don't know, or Josie, as we say, for people who live here. And then, of course, when we go to Cape Town, we make sure we have top-notch accommodations there as well.
And if they do want to stay in the hotel and rest, there's a pool, there's a bar, there's shuttle service if they, want to just, go next door to the arch that's next door that's got shopping and stuff. So the option is there. So they'll be free to roam about comfortably if they decide not to partake in any of the activities that day.
And remember, I want to say this. It says all inclusive. So all thing they need to bring is just money just for souvenirs, right?
Yeah, they can bring the money, for souvenirs. And we're in the packet, it tells them how to do that. Don't bring US dollars. Don't bring US dollars. You can just let your bank know that you're traveling. And nowadays, most banks know you're traveling. But if you just call your bank and let them know that you guys are traveling, what we're going to do is there's ATMs everywhere, just like in the U.S. There's ATMs And the good part about doing it that way is the exchange rate. So let's say, for example, you bought cash. I got $100 cash, and you go and get because the exchange rate is awesome right now. It's 14.5 to 14.5 South African rands to the dollar. That means you're doing very well for yourself. Just letting you know. But if you go to the ATM, your bank will give you what you're supposed to get. You know, like really what you're supposed to get if you was a South African. But if you decide to bring your own cash and go to one of those cash cages, you're gonna get paid. I mean, yeah, you'll get a lot less. You'll probably get 10 to 15% less on the dollar. So the best thing to do is we just let your bank know, hey, here's the deal. Before you leave, tell you you're gonna be gone for 10 days. And then at that point, you can go to any ATM and you can draw your money out and get exactly what you're supposed to get.
Okay, so because we had did that in Kenya, we went like they say go to the Barclays, and it was a lot better with that. So basically, that's kind of like what you guys are doing. Cause I know they do it at the airport if you come in the country, or you like say you can go to the ATM. So what you guys are saying is talk to your bank, because I know like with my bank, they'll do that. You'll tell them how much money you need in whatever currency, and they'll get that currency for you before you leave.
You can do that too.
You can do that too.
The only issue is for that is that we've had people do that, and they don't know. If I say 1,000 rand, you might be like, wow, that's a lot of money. 1,000 rand is only like $60. So that's what we say when people get here, based off what they're trying to do. Like I said, there's ATMs, there's great national ATMs here, from First National Bank to Standard Bank and others. It's just easier. Like I said, even the group who just left yesterday, they just took their ATM card and went to the ATM and was able to draw out what they wanted, and it works out. It works out better that way. You actually save money by just going to the ATM.
Right.
Because you get the actual exchange rate.
So how much would you suggest for people to bring and say, look, you come in this many days, I suggest, like, how much people you think people need to have?
I would, as far as, I would actually tell them not to bring anything, to be honest. I would tell them to just alert their bank, put a travel alert on their bank card. And if they're that concerned with it, then maybe like $1,000 US. That's a lot of money, actually. So it's way too much money, actually. And I would tell them to maybe put it on a prepaid card, something along those lines, if they're worried about getting hacked. But it's easier to just bring your debit card or your bank card, use it here, get the exchange rate for that day, and or just withdraw the South African rands out of the bank from your U.S. bank account. Like, that's how it works. It's just easier to do it that way.
So I'm thinking in the end, you would probably need no more than maybe between, all depends on how much shopping you want to do.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to buy stuff to take back home, shirts like this, things along that line. I mean, for the whole time you're there, maybe $300 to $500 US. And that's the equivalent to what it would be in rent, and you can do very well for yourself.
And if you're like a brother like me, I probably would lean on more what Dr. Latasha said, maybe the 1,000, because those kids like, Daddy, bring me this, and then all the people back home, and then you want to buy art and all kind of other things that you want to buy, then make sure bring your extra suitcase, because you're gonna need an extra suitcase to bring all this stuff back.
It happens.
Yeah, so that's what I always suggest to people. So, hey, it's very exciting to definitely hear about all of this and maybe get some information or maybe it's a question that we didn't get to. Maybe people been asking you wanted to put out here before we wrap up.
Get your deposits in. I mean, at this point, it's one of those things where once it starts going and gets filled, like there's not going to be any more seats. And I really am proud of the trip we put together for you guys, and I want to share it with your listeners and especially with you. I know you're going to have an amazing time. I'm excited for you to come and see it for the first time and just see what South Africa has to offer. And hopefully, if you guys love it enough, we'll show you enough that you want to come back again, because there's always going to be more to see. So I just suggest that people go ahead and get their deposits in and start making their way to South Africa for next year.
Yeah, and that's what I would say real quick, Mark, if you don't mind. You got this holiday season coming up. I'm gonna keep repeating this. Yeah. Giving your money to corporations and all of that and you buy these little trinkets, whatever they may be, you're going to put it to the side. Going to South Africa will be a trip of a lifetime for you. It's something you will never get. It'll be like a memory. Invest into, yourself. You could say, they say you could take your family on this if you want to. Invest into that. But you can't do anything without putting down deposits. You could say, well, next week, I'm like, well, look, I hope it's still here next week. So don't think about it. I always tell black folks that, a lot of time we overthink. So don't think about it. Just go ahead on and jump on it, because only 20 spots now left from what I was just told.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would echo that sentiment. The last people that we just brought here, one of the young ladies was like, I got asked 3 years ago to come here, and I didn't, and I regret it. I should have came here 3 years ago. I could have known this and have done much more beyond this. But I'm just now getting here. And it really, something that she had to think about.
Yeah.
And now she's trying to plan her next trip and the following trips, simply because, as she says to us, I'm bougie. Now she doesn't, she told me, she said, I'm bougie. But now that she's been here and she's been able to eat the good food, do all the good things that black people should be doing on a regular basis. And now that she knows about it, she's kind of changed her trajectory to say, you know what, maybe Africa is something that I need to be looking at a little bit, more closer, as she's saying, hey, I want to be able to go to the beaches. I want to be able to, I want bottle service, but you can do that here easily, and so forth. So I suggest that everyone who's interested in coming as a gift, especially for the holidays, as you were saying, Phil, put down your deposit. Go ahead and make your payments. Go ahead and pay it off. I guarantee you, and I literally guarantee you, once you come and get here, I give you about a day and a half. Usually takes people about a day and a half to get acclimated, and then they start realizing that, wow, this is all right.
And it's absolutely worth it. Everyone that we've spoken to that has been on a trip with us, they absolutely say that it's worth it, simply because they've spent more money doing less and got less. But here we know for a fact that it's, I won't call it an unvacation, because you feel so, feel so safe and so at home when you're here that it won't really feel like a vacation. You'll just feel at home, and that that's priceless. So get here for any reason at all. Come, give it as a Christmas present, birthday present, anniversary, and just celebrate it in September. You could say, this is your Christmas present, but we're going in September. That's fine. We'll take that. Anniversaries, birthdays. I think that this should be the trip that you count on to take your family on if you really want to give them something that they'll never forget. And we would love to have you guys here.
Exactly.
I definitely agree. And to me, like I said, just from what I know from personal experience, and you guys probably know the same thing, it's nothing like the experience of when you get there and then people hear you speak and they say, oh, you Black American, and they say, welcome home. When they tell you that, it does something to you. Believe it or not, it do.
Yeah, even now, we're about, a lot of people know us now simply because we're always around. They're like, oh, you okay? But we go places that people have never seen us. And as soon as we start talking, they say, oh, and then they say, welcome home. Glad you're home. Good to see you. Yeah, and we've been here for an extended period of time now, and it still hits you in the heart, like, wow, that's all right. So
it's nice to belong. It's nice.
Yes, because you don't get that feeling here in America at all. You just don't. You don't, and it just even when you're in your own communities, because of the things that we deal with, and the stress and pressure and depression and PTSD, Black folks sometimes just have a lot going on. Just on a good day, and sometimes we don't even want to speak to each other at times. I mean, now Southern culture, and I tell people that in African nations, I notice that basically they're like Southern culture too, where everybody's speaking to each other and having conversations with people you don't even know. So that's something to get used to if you're not used to the Southern culture. But it'll be a great trip, guys. It'll be a great trip. These are good people. These are great people that have set this up. We trust them, so make sure get your deposits in so you can go in September. So, you know, Dr. Latasha and Mark, I definitely thank you guys for joining us today. Even though we had some technical difficulties before, but we definitely thank you for being patient with us. And we definitely can't wait to see you guys in September. Then we'll bring you guys back and you can give us an update of what's going on. You know, and they also said that they may over deliver with you guys, which I believe they will. Yeah, so it may be some surprises. You never know what they're going to do. You know, you just never know.
That's for sure.
And it's funny because I think we do it because these are, you know, you guys are our people coming. And so we're so excited because this is your first time. And sometimes you kind of, you know, and you won't be able to see yourself, but when people get off the plane, they're literally looking around and then they see us. And then we feel like we need to take care of them. And we do to the time they leave.
Right. So you're definitely in good hands. Like I said, these are your fellow brothers, you know, and sisters from America. So they got you. They know all your thoughts, concerns, feelings. You know, some of us the first time travel, like, am I be okay on the plane? What's gonna happen? I mean, it's usually the direct flight, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, JFK direct flight. So trust me, guys, you'll be fine. Everything will be good. So, you know, we thank you guys for joining us today. Like I said, I know it's evening over there, so you know, they said have a great evening. And like I said, and definitely, you know, let us know what's going on, guys. Those deposits need to get in. There's only 20 spots left. Don't think about it because it may be in a few weeks. You're like, oh man, it's sold out. Like I told you. So, cause last time, you know, they got sold out in 30 days. So if that's the track record, then you guys need to hurry up.
Right.
We appreciate you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you guys and have a great evening.